Oh, it's gross. All right, whatever.
Did you nervous pee? Are you good?
I don't need a nervous pee. I'm nervous all the time.
Welcome to Chicken Adobo for the Soul, where two siblings talk about life like they know what they're doing. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Terrence.
How have you been?
It's been a while, actually, since we last recorded, right?
I know.
Like 3 weeks, actually.
Yeah.
So, I've been pretty good. I think I've been a little more disciplined with my time management and been going to the gym, right, for 4 days a week at this point. And yeah, I'm trying to get rid of this the holiday / post injury / just generally being lazy fat that I've gained.
New year, new you.
No, what? No, it's.
I hate that phrase.
What is it? It's April. It's April.
You just said holiday rate. Wait, it's April.
Okay, you're right. But Easter just finished. That's part of the holidays.
I was with you in Easter. You didn't eat that much.
Yeah, you're right. Oh shit. But yeah, no. I got my first draft of my thesis done also, so that's all very, very satisfying. But yeah, time management's pretty dope. I'm pretty content with that.
Okay.
Yeah, what about you?
As opposed to what were you, I guess just to give the
Context.
audience. Yeah. What was your time? What was your day spent like before?
I'm just really hoping that like my professors aren't listening to this, but on days I didn't have to work, I just wake up and play WoW until I had to go to the class later that evening. And then WoW is in World of Warcraft.
You work so hard.
I am such a hard worker. Yeah. Actually, yeah. I was my guild's, like main healer. I'd say, maybe not. I don't know. I share that crown with one of the other guys, but I'm pretty proud of my work there. Anyway,
I've been good. It's the same old work, nothing else. I like we talked about earlier, I guess the most exciting thing as a homeowner was I got those patio chairs. And I sat in the parking lot for about an hour trying to figure out if somebody could come help me get them.
Oh, yeah. That was one of the weirder phone calls I've gotten in a while. Yeah.
I know. I did. I called John. I said, how long is it going to take you to get to Woodbridge from DC? He said 45 minutes. Okay. I'll just wait here then.
Yeah. Like I would expect those kinds of phone calls from, my friends or people I went to college with or people from the ship. But at like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Get used to it.
Not at 6 in the afternoon.
It probably means I was shopping.
Yeah.
I did legitimately think that they would fit in my car.
No. No. These patio chairs are huge. You have a sedan.
I know. These bookshelves I got come in a very large box. The box would not fit in my car. So I was in the parking lot for an hour. I took them out of the box and fit them all into my car.
Piece by piece. Lord.
And I think the store let me throw the box away. I said, don't worry, I'm not returning it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's very thoughtful of them, I guess.
Yeah. But no, it's been a pretty basic week. Same old, nothing really exciting. You brought up an interesting point when I asked you how you were. Also, the focus of today's episode is daily routine. So you're trying to be a good boy and implement.
I've always been a good boy. What are you talking
You
about?
are a good boy.
I'm such a good boy.
But it sounds like you're trying to have a really more of a daily routine. So, I mean, what's that like compared to waking up and then doing whatever?
I don't know. It feels a lot more satisfying. I'll tell you that. I'm cooking, which is nice.
Okay.
I'm drinking more water.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. It's nice because I do honestly like miss that structure of having like some predictable set of actions or set of goals / chores, I guess, that need to be done at specific times of day. On those days I didn't have to work, it's really just all free form. And that's very like the opposite end of the pendulum from what I had when I was on the ship not that long ago, where every single second really of my day is accounted for. And, when it comes to having my schedule so deeply regimented like that, when it came to being free and, when I'm out of uniform, off the ship, on the way home, or just anywhere that's not base, I just kind of didn't know what the hell to do with myself. And so, of course, I got myself in decent amounts of shenanigans. That's a nice way to put it. But yeah, the structure is nice. It's not so strict, but it does give my life / day-to-day a little bit of better organization, and I feel more focused as a result, which is nice.
That is nice. I have to 100% agree with you on that because, and I don't know if you and I are the same in this, but if I have nothing to do that day and I've already cleaned everything, I've already worked on everything, I mean, Marcus will say, okay, just sit down, watch Netflix because I can't go any further in the show until you catch up.
Yeah.
But I can't even do that. I have to find something to do.
What are those things that you would end up doing instead?
Oh my God. Everybody has those projects on the back burner. Yeah. I mean, I've been meaning to develop pictures for the last 5 years.
Oh, do you have the chemicals for it?
No,
it's
I mean,
fun. It's
no.
so fun.
Well, I guess I should be specific. Develop as in just get them developed and then organize them, go through, because I buy empty photo albums with the intention of saying, okay, best of 2017, best of 2018. So that's been on the back burner for like 5 years. When we finally unpacked, I took all of my writings out and I said I was going to revisit them. And it's already been however long we've been in this house that I still haven't done it. But
your work keeps you so busy that you like those windows for you to try to accomplish something outside of work / maintain the home is kind of rare.
Now, I will say I do that to myself because the job that I'm working in now allows for I should have a better balance between work and personal life. But I mean, and I'm going to knock on wood because I really don't want to jinx myself, but I think things are cooling down with everybody going back to work. My email has kind of gotten to a more manageable level and I don't feel overwhelmed. I don't feel like my head's going to fall off.
Yeah, you mean like other people are coming in to help pick up the slack? Is that what it is?
No, I think everybody's just going back to work, which means they're not necessarily emailing management. I
see what you mean. Yeah.
I think during the pandemic, I tested this. I think there was one day where, because if I'm done with an email, I'll file it away. I tested it. I didn't file any of my emails away for the day, and I think I broke 100, and it like freaked me out.
That's a lot.
Because I've just never been used to that. There are people who I know get a whole mess of emails in a day, but now I think I've gotten to about 70 emails in a day, which does make a difference. So
it's a 30% reduction. Yeah, that's the difference.
So yeah, work does take up a lot of my time, but it shouldn't. I should not allow it to take up my time because I work a job now where I should be able to leave it at work, but I don't because I guess I just have to stay busy. If I have no work, but if I have no work to do and everything's clean, I will find something to do. And I don't know how to relax. I don't know what that's like.
Yeah, which I find like really funny because you have this really nice, relaxing looking chair plus an ottoman to put your foot on.
I don't know.
In your office that I don't think you've ever used.
I don't know how to sit and relax.
It's just here for decorative purposes.
Yeah. I mentioned to John earlier that I will sit in my she shed and just kind of relax. But the last time I did that was probably right after I unpacked everything.
Jesus.
Which was, we moved in October last year. So really I just don't sit still. So I think I'm the type of person that crams so much in their day because I don't think that there's enough time in the day. I think I'm running out of time.
That's kind of like our modern constant struggle though, because like we always want to be putting on all these things on our plate. It's a very American thing to do, right? Mm-hmm. Like time is money, blah, 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 blah. You got to move fast, get stuff done constantly, no matter what stage of life you're in, right? I mean, they start us off real early in school. Like, here's a bunch of homework, go home and do it. But you also kind of want to go play with your friends, so you got to rush and get the homework done.
Yeah.
Plus chores, plus whatever. Mm-hmm. And then as you grow up, all the homework, chores, and friends all just change and swap, and, the faces differ, the terms differ, but all those demands on time are all still there, and that feels awful.
Mm-hmm. What was your daily routine like Well, let's do a comparison. What was your
Yeah.
daily routine like? Let's just say high school, and then in your college years,
Oh, God.
and then let's say early out of college, and then that puts us, let's just say, right around now.
Okay, let's say the average high school day, I guess, right?
Yeah.
From let's take a sample across the freshman to senior years.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just wake up, right? Do my morning routine of brush my teeth, put clothes on.
Good.
That's literally it.
Good.
And yeah, go to school, whatever. Go to lunch, I guess. The standard school day. Go home. And this is back in the day when Toonami was a big deal on Cartoon Network. So, I would rush home so I can watch Dragon Ball Z right away.
But only after that was Sailor Moon.
Who cares?
I do. Because
Okay,
that was
sorry,
part
yeah.
of my day.
All right, whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, like rush home, watch Dragon Ball Z, and then maybe do homework. And then play video games for the rest of the night. And this is also like in the early days of AOL Instant Messenger, right?
Mhm.
AIM. So I would log on in the early evening, maybe after dinner, and then just chat with my friends. Like, oh, yeah, what'd you do today after I saw you like 5 hours ago?
That's the mini adult life.
Yeah, and then we would have these chat rooms and we're just shooting the shit. And then like, oh, yeah, did you see today's episode of DBZ? Wow, so cool. Dude, Piccolo did, thing. He regrew an arm. So sick. And then, yeah, play video games and then chat through that. Maple Story, Diablo 2, for those who are familiar with those, right? I was one of those kids. And that was essentially it. We maybe help each other with homework, copy paste some problem sets here and there. But then that was that. Yeah, that's high school.
Yeah, I think similar. You wake up,
Mhm.
You do your girl routine. My last 2 years of high school was spent in the creative writing program. So there was a little bit of after,
So you
but
did some writing?
yeah, but by then I was already driving. So
I thought you were gonna say drinking.
no,
And I'm like, yes, that does enhance the creative
it
soul.
does.
Yeah.
It does. Yes, I think I actually left school. Let's see, school would probably end 2:00. I'd probably be home by 4. So just spend a little bit
Wow.
more time
What
after
the hell
school.
were you doing on school or on campus?
Look, my teacher's classroom was, I'm telling you, was the best.
Okay.
So hung out there, did some quiet writing, went home, or on days where I could pick up a shift and I didn't have any heavy homework, I was hosting at the time. And I guess I'll just go ahead and say that was probably the same daily routine when I hit college.
Okay, that's not so bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not so bad at all.
So I don't think there was that much of a change between high school and college. I think right after college, then it was just kind of like, okay, there's no school now. What do I do to fill this time?
Well, I mean, you had like basically nearly a full-time job on top of going to college. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of demands on your time.
I think
That
I just
sucked.
picked up more shifts.
You just kept doing it.
Just kept working.
Doing stuff. Yeah. How'd you find time to do homework, or how did you make homework work?
Well, when at that time I was at the hotel and I was only front desk, and depending on the day or how busy it was, I wrote my thesis at the hotel.
That's fair, because you may have those times where there's like nothing going on.
Yeah.
Right? It's really quiet. And
It
you're
was
just
very
struggling
quiet.
to stay awake, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate enough to work for people who didn't care how I spent my shift and
Yeah.
wasn't micromanaging.
As long as you're there to support
Yeah.
and provide for the guest. Yeah.
Get your reporting done, get what you need done first, and if you just need to spend the rest of the night checking people in, I don't care what you do.
Nice.
Which was sort of something I sold to people when I was trying to recruit, but that's probably another story. But
I mean, it's all just some version of the truth, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, yeah, it was just kind of like, hey, this is a great place if you're in school. I don't care what you do. I want you to get the job done, but
Yep.
do your homework. But
Yep.
yeah, I think my daily routine right after college was just filling it up with work. And I was working for a place where it was 24/7. So now I can say, again, back to my comment, I should not be allowing work to take up more time than it should. I should be able to get off work, meet you in the city or something for a drink or an appetizer.
There you go. That's yeah.
I'll meet you, have the drink, I'll have the appetizer.
Yes.
That's how that works.
That's how it will work. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's for me like college college came in multiple stages for me because I went to community college, then I went to a proper university, then I went into the Navy, and then I went to college again. So it's hard to generalize like how the time broke down in each of those stages. But for the most part, like I didn't have the same kind of stresses that you did. Like I can speak generally in that sense because I wasn't working as much as you were. You know, because for a while I didn't need / I couldn't get a job. Yay! Thanks to the economy, it was a great time. Big crash in 2008. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, there's other things like legal status and whatnot that kind of got in the way. Wait, did we talk about that in the first episode? Was that a thing?
Briefly.
Briefly? Oh yeah. So it was totally illegal. So fun.
So yeah, get it out now.
Oh well, whatever. Cares. Hello, immigration services.
Oh right.
Yeah, they kind of. Well, I'm a citizen now. Whatever. Anyway, point being is that I didn't have time management struggles back then. But of course, yeah, I joined the Navy, and then finally, like, I had something that kind of actually did dictate how my whole life should be, because that's one of the things that the service asks of you. It asks you to shape and mold your life around its core philosophies. Right? You have to buy into it. You have to adopt it. But it's commonly perceived, right, that people who join the military have to surrender their entire personality to it. But I don't see that being the case. Like, I am still as carefree-ish / as can be as silly as I always have been, and you can attest to this, right? But when it comes time to turn it on, like, it has to be like that, and the time management along with that, how it dominates your life in very, very long phases.
Yeah, time management. I think just this morning I was getting ready. I typically spend my Saturday morning. I have myself a cup of coffee. I'll put on some background noise, but it was spent. I was about to do other chores, and I stopped because I thought, well, hold on a second. Let me get a load of laundry in so it's not just sitting there. But yeah, time management dominates just everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, it's the need to want to get as much done as I can. And in a very strange way, I don't have a strict to-do list every day.
Oh no.
But and I think that's where the overwhelmingness comes from, because I have all these things that I want to do.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll wake up or the night before and I'll say, okay, well, maybe I'll write something tomorrow. But, I don't know whether it's procrastination or just time management, but I'm trying to get everything else done first before I really sit down and do that one thing of enjoyment. And I take that back. Actually, I love cleaning. So
I guess you've got a perfect dog for that thing.
I do. I know. And what he's saying is I have a husky, and it's around, for the husky owners, it's around that time where they're puffing their fur. So little tufts of fur, she leaves a trail behind her.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a wake of devastation.
It is.
Yeah, but no. So like, I offer, right? Like, I've shown you my like to-dos. Like, whenever you ask me, like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Hey, what are you doing on such and such day? I'll just take a screenshot of my to-do list and I'll give you that.
You have a to-do list for the day.
I have a daily to-do list. Yeah, it's broken down task by task by task, and yeah, I'll get like 90% of it done. Like yesterday I was supposed to finish proofreading and critiquing some peer theses for my class. As I've talked to you over dinner, I definitely didn't get through all of them. Well, all 2 of them. Yeah, the whatever I don't finish in a day, I'll carry on to the next. But it gives me that structure that I'm craving, right? And it gives me these easy to do, easy to knock out objectives that when I do finish them, man, I feel good about it.
You even add on your to-do list the fun personal items.
Yes.
So your to-do list, I've noticed, is not just consisting of work.
Yeah, it's all inclusive. Yeah.
Which is interesting to me, and I do, since we're talking about this now, I can tell you it fascinates me, because I think for me, maybe it's just how I was raised. Get what you need to get done, what you need to do first, and then go have fun. So, it's just kind of like, I guess there's a lot of flexibility with my day. I don't have to do the dishes right now. If you call me and say, hey, you want to have breakfast? Normally I do the dishes in the morning. Okay, I'll just do the dishes later. do I actually get to it? I don't know. Maybe something else in my maybe something else in my day may come up, or maybe us being out takes longer than anticipated. And I think that also affects how I go about each day. And that's probably why I always feel like I'm running out of time, because something else might come up, which may shove something off the list. And, it's strange. I have a list, but not a list.
For me, what drives my to-do list every day is that, yes, there are things that absolutely must get done, right? But at the same time, I also absolutely must take care of me too, right? And one of the big takeaways I had from my last ship, like one of the most stressful times I've ever had in the Navy, was at the end of the day, I'm just so destroyed and beat up and absolutely chewed up by the system, by the machine. Literally, the ship is a massive machine and the people in it are just cogs. And so by the time I get home, all I kind of want to do is just drink and pass out and then do it all over again the next day. But that's not really healthy, right? That's not productive. It's not conducive to anything. I'm just going to end up being worse off the day after. So over time, I figured that, okay, I have to do something for me to like either restore some piece of my soul or to rehab the body somehow, right? And that has to be built into the schedule. And if it doesn't happen, that's awful. And so that's why you do see those fun items on my to-do list on the day-to-day, because it has to happen.
That's an interesting outlook, and I never really thought it that way. I try not to cram so much in my day. I think that's my first step in trying to get over that anxiety of, am I doing enough? Did I do enough? Is there enough time? And that's an interesting approach. Especially, I think that I could adapt that on the weekends, because during the week I'm working. So, and I think the way I treat my days during the week is, obviously I'm working 8 to 5, 9 to 5, whatever. And then depending whether or not I have a meeting at night, it may be, okay, I have time for happy hour with a friend, or let me jet home, let me go take care of Mia and then go out to the gym and do something like that. So I think during the week, my to-do list is pretty minimal in that it's work. And then I, just like yourself, where our brains are working so much, I almost don't want to do anything. I don't even want to think about what's for dinner. Just tell me what we're eating.
Yeah. And I guess that's why like things like Uber Eats or DoorDash is so seductive, right? It's like, I don't have to think about anything. I just pick something on the menu and it's there.
Oh man, but there are some days where you can't even think.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You can't even
really,
pick.
Really bad. Yeah.
Marcus will say, "What do you want for dinner?" And I have to make it clear to him, I literally don't know. Just pick something.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want to make another decision.
Speaking from a guy's point of view, though, that's a very dangerous proposition.
I know.
It's like, what if I choose wrong? Then it's just going to get worse.
It's like, but you're not going to eat this.
The trick, guys, for those listening, is to offer them a choice that they've already like kind of made up in their mind. But, if you put it that way, you're never going to go wrong. Because if you ask them, what do you want to eat? And then they say whatever, and you choose something, you're screwed no matter what. Right? But hey, hey babe, do you want Italian or Japanese?
Okay, that is effective. That works.
I told you.
It minimizes the area of making a decision.
Yeah, it's also a great parenting hack for parents out there.
That's fair.
This is coming from someone who only knows about this theoretically. I have 0 children of my own that I know of.
That's your polite way of saying, I'm going to tell you this, but take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. So, you give the kids the choice. Do you want the OJ or do you want the apple juice? They're both healthy, but you don't get a choice. So you're going to drink a healthy drink.
So going back to you planning your to-do list, because I am thinking this may be something I just think about and work on trying to implement into my daily routine.
Yeah, put one thing.
Yeah. How do you, when and how do you put together your to-do list?
It's okay. So full disclosure, right? I used to play a lot of World of Warcraft. Taking a bit of a break right now because the patch isn't out until this coming August. So that's on hold. But the fun thing about it is that it's a cooperative game and I love doing that, but it's on a set schedule. So I have to do that. It's like scheduled fun, mandatory scheduled fun. And it actually is fun, which is great, right? So it's restorative for me in that sense. And so I didn't have to think about it because it was gonna have to happen. It had to happen because I'd be
Scheduled
letting
fun.
down 19 other people if I didn't show up. And so there's that aspect of it. So if to apply it to your life, maybe you find a writing group where you guys get together, sit around a table, and for like 30-minute bursts, write, socialize for 5 or 10, and then go back to writing. There are writing clubs. Like I went to a couple of meetings in San Diego when I was there, and I was able to manage to fit it into my schedule, and that's kind of fun, super effective, right? But of course, pandemic being the pandemic, probably not going to happen.
I could see that. It's required fun.
Yeah.
When you schedule it, if you stick to your to-do list. So if me, not right now, but if I'm the type of person to stick to my to-do list and I add this scheduled fun, I am required to do it.
Yeah.
And it's forced. And in not a negative way, it's a very beneficial way. It's just, it has to be done.
Actually, so I want to piggyback on this too. Like, we're both adults here, right? This is going to get really funny / awkward. But
Okay.
when I was married, we scheduled sex.
Okay.
Okay, so like, I mean, there's scientific.
I know people who
studies.
do that. So
Exactly. And it's, I had a school schedule plus ROTC at the time. So, a lot of my time was accounted for, but not nearly as much as it was when I was on the ship, right? She had school. She actually was working while she was also going to school. So a lot of her time was accounted for. And, at certain points in the week, we're like, I'm tired. Oh, no, maybe she's tired. And it was difficult to line up. But if you schedule it, you can plan around it. It's Mando fun. It's
Mando fun. That's really clever. I've just never heard that before.
Oh, it's a common military term. It's not a term of endearment, I'll tell you that. It's more punishment really than anything. Anyway, yeah. So it's mandatory. It's got to happen, and then according to these psychologists and whatever sex experts sexperts, I guess. Roll your eyes harder. That'd be great.
Roll my eyes harder so these people can hear me. Did you guys hear me roll my eyes?
No, so
go ahead. What did the sexperts say?
They're saying that like you're scheduling your sex can make it better. Like we rewind 10 minutes, right? All we talked about scheduling fun, that same logic applies to scheduling your sex.
I could see that because when you're scheduling something, you're planning. There's an opportunity for you to like make it really romantic, and it's not just like rushed.
Yeah, I never did, but
Okay. You could have just lit a candle or something. But I see where you're coming from. There's a little bit more thought into it when I wake up, and I'm learning a whole new outlook on this. When I wake up and I go to work, I plan out the big major things that I have to do that day.
Yes, the major muscle movements must happen.
On top of everything else that I need to do. But, planning it out allows for more thought, more, take a moment. You see this item on your to-do list coming up in the next day or two. Mm-hmm. Let me take a moment to really think about this and put some effort into it. So I could see that. That's really interesting. That's an interesting outlook. So how far in advance do your to-do list go? 5 days in advance?
No, I have items all the way to like June 2nd.
Wow.
Yeah. But then again, so like the to-do list is kind of like a very short-term kind of planning tool. My Google Calendar is my longer-term planning tool where I see I can like lay things down months or years ahead of time. Like I have a 5-year reminder I just set a couple of days ago to renew my TSA pre-check, my global entry pass, basically, right? So I can keep traveling. Also, because like Amex gives you that credit. So does Chase, but I didn't take advantage of that. So I have reminders that go really, really far out and to-dos really, really far out. But on my shorter term list, I just use a very simple notepad file or Google Keep. And then that's what I take screenshots of and send you. But those go out at least a week.
Yeah. What's happening is now I'm realizing what you doing all of that. I do that only for work.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to plan that personal, to have something personal, because there will be times, like all of my board meetings, because all of my associations have their board meetings scheduled for the year. And it's a routine, like, okay, every fourth Monday, every third Thursday, I can put those into my calendar and I know what it looks like. I know what's happening. And I think my takeaway already, we're not even done with this episode yet, but my takeaway from this is, but try that out for personal stuff. Because, there will be times where Marcus is off on a Wednesday and he says, what are you doing Wednesday? Well, I have a board meeting. So let me look. But I instinctively look at my calendar. And so that's interesting. I think this is definitely a takeaway moment where I'll kind of try and work that in. And I think that goes back to, I guess, what the article we read. So just for context, when we're planning a podcast, I do a little bit of research just to try and, keep things going. And we recently read an article about, is there enough time in the day? And the article mentioned to schedule one thing for yourself for an enjoyment. So you 100% embrace that. And that's interesting.
Sometimes too much, but yes.
But still, you're still, it's a perfect work and personal life balance, which is what I've had a hard time grasping.
Yeah. See, now that you mentioned that, like, especially the article bit where it does tell you to include personal items on your to-do list, I find it amusing that you're working towards building into your routine something that I've got going on, whereas I'm looking at your model and I'm aspiring for that.
Don't aspire.
I'm aspiring towards something a little more freeform. Because look, when I send you those screenshots, when I talk to you about that Google Calendar 5-year reminder thing, that is an outgrowth of work, right? That is the deeply regimented Navy schedule, the Navy mentality of go, get things done as much as you can in as little time as possible, and be hyper efficient. That's that mentality bleeding into my personal life.
What the article says, it can be very depressing.
It is absolutely
very exhausting.
Yes, you are my whoever that character is, and I'm Charlie Brown.
That's Lucy.
Yes, I knew that, but don't be the Charlie Brown.
That's true. Mm-hmm. It's exhausting.
It is.
Because it's almost there's heavy anxiety on it, because my thought would be, again, am I doing enough? Did I do enough today?
Yeah.
And you want to aspire to
take it a little more easy.
You think I'm taking it easy?
No, okay, maybe not that, but have. I'm sorry, that's a poor choice of words.
No, I'm not offended.
It's
It's just as I said. I think during the week, I know what I'm doing. I know that I'm going to be spending half the day working.
Yeah.
If you call me and say, "Hey, happy hour at 6," then my response is, "Okay, yeah, that sounds good. I don't have a meeting, but give me some time to take care of the dog, and I'll meet you somewhere." But on the weekends, I think it's the weekends that's my problem. Is can I cram enough in the weekends to try and get things done?
Because it's so open, right?
It is so open, which I've never had before.
Oh, okay.
There were times where people have asked me to do things, and and I've said no, not for any specific reason or for any negative reasons, but just because, I just want to kind of be home.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's, I'm a new homeowner or I just want to be in my space, but I sometimes I don't want to do something that takes up the entire day when I could be doing something else. And I can understand how offensive that does sound, but
no, don't stress.
But if I know I'm going to spend all day doing one thing, that means my time is taken away from doing something else.
Yeah. It's there's opportunity cost associated with it, right? I could be doing this instead.
Yeah.
Right?
And not in any way, not in anything bad. I always enjoy what I'm doing in that moment, but because I'm a dork, I'll just say I could be putting in a load of laundry or folding my clothes instead of, going to a food festival or
Oh. Yeah.
I would never deny a food festival for laundry.
No. Hell no. Yeah.
I would never. But that's interesting. Wow, we are definitely trying to be like the other person and not actually knowing it.
Yeah, as soon as you mentioned like, oh, I should try to implement a little bit more of that, I found that instantly like, no, wait, what, no.
Let me tell her
No,
to calm
what?
down.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
do what I'm doing.
No, please don't. Well, I can see why it would be kind of a seductive, maybe let's not say seductive. It's an appealing kind of approach to organizing your time.
Yeah.
Absolutely appealing, yeah. And it works for me because I'm just so wired to do that. But my natural tendency, if we think of like pre-Navy, like, no, I definitely didn't care how the day kind of went as long as I'm getting the bare essentials done. Sure, that's all I need. Yeah, but now it's goal, objective, take that hill. Haha, just kidding, I'm not in the army. Et cetera, right? You know, go sail to this point in the ocean. Okay.
Yeah, there's an anxiety there.
Yeah.
John sent me a YouTube video a little while ago, and of the 8-minute video, I only took away like 30 seconds of it. Sorry.
Oh.
But the YouTube video focused on life routines, and just to ask the question, is life so boring? Do we make this ourselves? And I'll be honest, I think it freaked me out when he said it, but he said, the guy in the YouTube video said, we have 24 hours in a day. The average person, I guess the average person, I don't know who this person is, gets 8 hours of sleep. I don't get 8 hours of sleep, but that leaves
more like 6.
Yeah, that leaves, so 8 hours of sleep, that leaves 16 hours remaining. Let's say you work an average 8-hour shift. That means you have 8 hours left remaining to do what?
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, freaked me out because I thought, what am I doing in those 8 hours? It may take 2 hours to
commute.
Yeah. Maybe an hour or two to cook dinner.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's 2 hours. I cook very slow. And then that's another, 4 hours left. What am I going to do?
Yep.
Do I watch Netflix? Do I vacuum? Do I sit and talk to Marcus? What's going to happen?
Or just like a lot of people do, we multitask, right? We're folding laundry while we're watching Netflix.
Yeah.
Or we're cooking while we're watching a lecture that we missed.
But we're running out of time. So we
constantly
cram that much into the remaining 4 hours, 2 hours, whatever.
Yeah. And not to take the limelight or spotlight away from the topic at hand, but I think this is going to be an awesome segue into, or at least a preview into, what we'd like to talk about next week, which is financial independence, early retirement, or retiring early. But we'll talk about that later. But this anxiety about how we're spending time is so, like, it's arresting, right? It's so it dominates a big portion of our minds, where, you know, we're at work during those 8 hours, right? Where we're grinding, we're toiling away, and that's kind of the primary focus. But as soon as you step out of the office, step off the ship, you're in your car or whatever it is, then you're suddenly overcome with, damn, I have X amount of hours before I have to go to bed to do it again tomorrow. What am I going to do now?
Yeah.
You know, and then you're just constantly going through this mental checklist of, okay, if I do X, I can do Y, but I can't do Q.
Yeah.
Right? But you're making sacrifices here and there, and that feels awful, because maybe, you know, item V or W, whatever, is personally going to be much more satisfying and personally much more fulfilling than the absolutely mandatory thing that you need to do, ABC, you know, for survival or for employment or for whatever it is, whatever society says you must do, you know. And I don't think we've talked about that yet. Like, what does society expect of us? Like right now, like, you are a homeowner, you're not a newlywed anymore. You're like, what, a year and change past? A year and a half.
Yeah,
right?
about a year and a half.
Yeah, you know, what is it?
It's been so long.
An eternity.
An eternity.
Yeah.
Was it since when we've been together since Jesus was a baby?
Jesus.
I heard that the other day. I thought that was really funny.
Wow.
Just because I've never heard that before.
That's a new way to put it. Yeah. You know, I was already getting separated by the time by this point in my marriage. No, but then, you know, what does society expect of a single guy in his mid-30s? Right? You know, well, I guess society expects me to be going out there and dating, I guess, right? And
well, I think our generation kind of wipes all that out.
yeah, because millennials are killing everything.
At least,
God, boomers.
We drive each other crazy.
At least we don't kill them yet.
Yeah, we drive each other crazy, but we're all in it together, because I think our generation has wiped that. What does society expect from us?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Because I don't think there's a whole list of expectations that we as a generation should be meeting. And I just don't think
We are not meeting
we've
a lot
like
of
touched it, but not entirely.
Yeah.
And then we go do something else.
And a good amount of it is, okay, now this is going to get into a whole different thing, touching culture wars and politics that I don't want to really touch upon. But like a lot of the things that are happening, or at least a lot of the, what do you call these, waypoints, I suppose, or checkpoints that we're supposed to be hitting aren't happening because of some deeply structural issues that are kind of beyond our control, right? We didn't build the system that we're operating in, and we just have to deal with it. You know, like what do you think society expects you as a year and a half past marriage wifey should be doing with your time?
Keep going.
No.
You're struggling there for a second.
No, it's not struggling. I didn't want to say housewife because you're not a housewife. You're a working woman. You have a career. You're making, you're bringing home a paycheck, et cetera, right? You're not the image of a 1950s wife who just wakes
Make
up.
sandwiches all day?
Yeah, sure.
I do make a killer sandwich though.
Wow, thanks. I've never had one ever.
Okay, sorry, God. I think.
Yeah, what do you think society expects of you to do with your time, your free time, those 8 hours that's not work or sleep?
Oh God, I have no idea. Well, I think
I think you do.
I think there are people my age that already have children
that
may fill those 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are people my age that have their own businesses where, okay, yes, back to the 8-hour shift, but sure, if you have your own business,
You're your own boss.
the whole day is your shift.
Yes.
You know, it's your business.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there are some people my age that truly know what happy hour is like and go out and have a good time.
Yeah, they do.
I know. I don't know how to do that. My friends call me a cheap date because I'm like, one drink. They're like, I'll pick up her tab.
Did you even finish your glass of wine last night?
I did finish my glass of
okay.
wine.
I didn't notice. My bad.
One of my close friends from college, we used to hit up happy hour before our class, and I would just have one drink. She's like, that's it? I got you, girl. Don't worry. But yeah, I think that what I've learned over time was not to listen to these expectations and just to kind of plan my day how I want it.
Okay. Good.
And how I want to do things. I think that's how I have reduced the amount of anxiety of what expectations are of me. And that's just how I do it. I think my society, what I'm going to do in those remaining 8 hours, it's, should I go develop more pictures? Should I pick up a piece of poetry and rewrite it as a 30-year-old? Should I, I think it's just I'm being selfish in a good way, but I'm doing it for me because I've never had this much time before. It does make me think that I 100% wholeheartedly think that our generation has we've worked together to make it a different world for us, because I remember in my interview in my job now, I remembered my supervisor saying, I wholeheartedly believe in the balance between a healthy balance between work and personal life. I have never heard that before. Never, ever heard that before. And it was just kind of like, what are you saying? And again, I mentioned it before. I was at work at 5:30 and he was like, oh, you should probably go. I don't want to overwhelm yourself. What? Who are you talking to? So yeah, I think
I heard that on the ship last.
I think, but I do think how you and I have spent, how you and I have grown up. We went hard first, and now we're learning how to lighten up, and somehow learn how to relax a little bit. You with a heavy, strict schedule. Myself, like I said, hotels are 24/7. So, and we worked long shifts. Mm-hmm. I think now's the time to do it. And I'm grateful for that, I gotta say.
Yeah. I would have to caveat that though. Like, I'm on shore duty right now.
Okay, yeah.
So this is a very, very temporary break for me. I got a 3-year break, and then it's another 3 years of the high intensity, high up tempo, high stress, like mental health damaging,
I'll take you.
all sorts of awful
I'll
things.
provide an optimistic approach to that.
Yeah.
You went hard in the beginning. Now you're on shore duty.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're going to go hard again.
But then after that, it's like relax for freaking ever.
But at least you know what to expect.
Yes.
You know how to handle yourself.
Kind of.
You've grown a little bit in that you've adjusted how you handle your day.
Mm-hmm.
And you can take that with you on your next step after this,
100%,
after short duty.
100%.
So
that is the absolutely optimistic way to look at it. And
yeah,
can't disagree with you on that.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's good that we kind of went hard in our younger years. I guess that we grew up. I put very heavy air quotes around that. Grew up so early in our years, and then now we're just learning how to relax.
Yeah.
But I also think that is the struggle, because I don't know there are very few times I sit down on the couch and actually watch Netflix. I have to be doing something else.
Yes, because we've got to be using time somehow, or using time, quote unquote, effectively.
Yeah, because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
We're running out of time. And that's such a scary thought, but I try not to let that freak me out.
Yeah.
It's, you have to do you.
Yeah.
You have to do you, boo-boo.
Unfortunately, like, it feels like this is such an American or maybe just a Western thing. Like this.
No, I think it's American.
Yeah, it's absolutely meat grinder of a lifestyle that we have, where, like breaking it down into those 8-hour chunks. Like it's awful to think that we have these discrete divisions that this must happen. Like this 8 hours must happen. This 8 hours must happen, and in this 8 hours. That's all you get. Then whatever you do in those 8 hours is you got to go figure that out for yourself. Whereas, I don't know, maybe like in France or Spain, let's say Spain, for example, they have a freaking like built-in midday break, and their culture isn't to murder themselves at work.
Yeah. We I think as Americans, we spend our 24 hours to survive.
Yeah.
And that may be a good or a bad thing, depending on the life you're living.
Yeah.
I know that when we were on our road trip, the time we spent on the road, it was a self-paced trip, but the time we spent on the road was maybe between an hour to 2 hours going from each point. But by the time we got to the next town, it was maybe 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the shops and boutiques were already closed.
Nice. Actually, I'll give him that.
I'm thinking,
but also at the same time, like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah,
I just got here.
Where is everybody? And we, of course, you're in a new place. You're in Europe, and you want to venture out. Me, for those of you listening and who don't know me, I drink, just not as much. So the only thing left open were bars. That was the most whiskey I've ever drank. But
can we have a whole episode of just drinking stories?
Yeah, what am I gonna contribute to that?
Can we actually drink during that too? So maybe your drunk memories will come out.
Oh no,
there are these. Yeah, that's a thing.
I did drink. They don't have, what's the apple cider here? Is it Angry Orchard?
Yes.
They have something else in Ireland. I can't remember the name, but that
like Hyper Violent Orchard.
Oh yeah, but it tasted like apple juice, and it was the most delicious. I had a lot of that and a lot of whiskey.
They're great. I love ciders.
So, but back to, they don't have to work to survive. And I don't know, maybe if that's your set store hours, that's fine. But you have these cute little businesses or whatever. I think even office buildings were closed.
Yeah.
But it's only the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Albeit we get done at work at 5. But I mean, hello. That was it.
I mean, it is funny that like that relationship with time that Europeans have. Like, I mean, generally across the entire continent, they don't have to turn and burn as hard as we do, or they don't feel the need to turn and burn like as much as we do.
Yeah, it's so strange.
Yeah, it is. But it's funny because I'm taking one of my courses this semester is on the early American Republic, and this last book one of the more recent books that we've read is about how this very uniquely American relationship with time and our culture and our work ethic came to be, right? Because historically speaking, right, we are maybe not we as in you and me, like we're Filipino, right? But Americans in the 1770s, 1780s, 90s, early 1800s are British as hell. That is their, that
Put
is
that on a t-shirt.
no, that's the cultural heritage. Like, we're English speaking. These the Plymouth Rock, all those people, whatever shit. They're all from Britain, or a lot of them are from Britain, right? And they came over to this country with a lot of those cultural mannerisms and those trademark, very British kind of behaviors. Tea was the official drink of the country until the Boston Tea Party, because whatever, that was awful. And then we switched to coffee. But the point being is that, like, in order to like build something that's uniquely American, to gain quote unquote cultural independence, we had to break away from the British roots. And part of that solution, part of that building an American identity was through work ethic. Whereas these British had a very already like rigid and stratified system where, what you do is in your profession, and then that your time is dictated by that. Us, God, I keep saying us. We're not like, ethnically white, but early Americans, early United States, like patriots, let's say that, right? They forged their own identity by just constantly working and constantly bucking the trend against what was characteristically British. And so that's the foundations. A lot of the roots of American, like, hardcore work culture, where you only get like 2 weeks of vacation time a year. That's nuts to me, right? It's all rooted from wanting to be something not British. For those who are more inclined towards reading history, I'm really kind of like directly lifting from Carrie Ann Yakota's Unbecoming British. Great read. I just did a book review for class.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. That makes me think about, and I don't know, you and I don't think we were close then, but our other cousins, they used to spend, their school year was an all year round school where it was 2 months of school and then 1 month off.
Oh, so in California, we call that a track system.
Yeah. I've never heard of that. I mean, but that's interesting. Even, cool. Yeah, that was interesting. So, and that's why they would spend the month here on the East Coast. Mm-hmm. Whereas, here on the East Coast, it's what I think high school starts at like 8 a.m, 7 in the morning till 2.
Something like that, yeah.
And yeah, that's like the whole day, I'd get out of school at 2:00, maybe 4, and then go to work right after. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you're trying to maximize your time, and because time is valuable. I think that, I don't know if there's any remedies to reduce the amount of anxiety. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Retire early, financial independence. Honestly, yeah. I think that's why this episode like ties in so well to the next one, and we'll explore that a lot more then. But like having that independence to not have to be beholden to somebody for a paycheck, and you can dictate really what you want to do with your life. That's pretty sweet. That's pretty powerful. And then you're free from the cycle. You've broken the chains.
I'm almost afraid of that. I'm
super stoked about it, honestly.
I think that, and I don't know if there are people, I'm sure there are people out there like me that would view it this way, but I'm almost afraid to, I never saw myself retiring because I always, like I said, I always have to stay busy.
So there's the thing, right? I mean, we're really bleeding into the next week now, but I do want to get that out of the way. Like when I say retire, everybody thinks retire is such a dirty word. It's really not. It just means you don't have to work for someone else for a constant paycheck just to survive. When you retire, you are free to work for yourself. So if you say you want to keep working, you say you want to keep busy, yes, keep doing that. But your work, once you retire, your work is defined by you. You can choose how to best spend the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. It's not playing golf every day. It's not sitting on a beach. It's working for a cause you believe in.
Well, no, and I guess specifically what I mean is, again, you and I went hard working for somebody else, doing stuff for something else. It'd be interesting to flip that. Right. Now I'm not working for anybody else. Now I'm not
what you want to do.
Yeah, now I'm not doing somebody else's schedule or following somebody else's schedule. Now I'm doing my own time, but I could definitely see myself thinking, okay, now what do I do?
No, you
I'm
just
on
keep
my
going.
I'm on my time.
You decide for yourself at that point.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
Oh, I think that there's a beauty, and I think that there is just I think that there is still a little bit of anxiety on trying to navigate through that. So I think that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
But
yeah.
you know, I don't know. I'd probably just, with reducing the amount of anxiety, I just kind of tell myself, like, look, and this is just me trying to achieve the healthy balance between work and personal life. But you know, the work will be there tomorrow.
That's true, yeah.
Your emails will always increase.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yes, if personal, yeah, you didn't go to happy hour that one day, but the happy hour is the next day. Things like that. I think I think the only thing to tell ourselves or to remind us is to just sort of like kind of do you at your own speed, take it slow, speed it up, take things off your to-do list or add as much onto it as you want, one day, one step at a time. I think the important thing to remember is don't freak out. Try not to freak out. Don't freak out. Time is very valuable. So whatever you're doing, make sure you're comfortable with however long your to-do list is or however short it is. So, but we thank you both for listening to Chicken Adobo for the Soul, and we will catch you next time.
Yeah.
Are
Good
you
times.
recording now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we say something funny?
No. No, it has to be organic. It has to be. No, what? No, that's. I'm not trying to be fake.
Put that in.
Wow.
Use that.
Yeah, I actually am.